Thank you and good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam's Sports Report. And Sam's Learning Disability Day. Welcome to Do Something. Dyslexia definition. Dyslexia is a learning disorder that involves reading due to problems in identifying speech sounds and learning how they relate to words. Decoding, also called reading disability. Dyslexia results in an individual difference in their area of their brain that processes language differently. Welcome to DoSomething.org, a global movement of millions of making positive changes online. The 11 facts below, sources for dyslexia. Here we go. Dyslexia is the most common learning disability, and individuals with this medication have difficulty in the area of language processing, which means it's hard for them to read. 1 in 5 people have dyslexia. We've talked about subjects before, such as schizoaffective, that just less than 1 in 100, 1 out of 200 or less have have schizoaffective. About 75 to 80% of children who are placed in a special education for learning disabilities are dyslexia. Although the disability is less common than dyslexia, dyscalculia is a similar disability. Dyscalculia mixes up numbers, whereas dyslexia mixes up words. Dyslexia reflects overall in language but localized weaknesses within the phonological model of the brain, where sounds and languages put together words or break words down sound. As a result, person with dyslexia called phonics, where also a person for a strategy for dyslexia. Phonics is where a book breaks down the words. People with dyslexia are usually more creative and higher level of intelligence. A lot of people with dyslexia have a higher IQ than 100. Those dyslexia use only the right side of the brain to process languages, while the non-dyslexia use their areas of the left side of their brain. The left side is weak for dyslexics. A nonverbal learning disability is on the left side of the brain. The children have 50% chance of having dyslexia and 100% if both parents have it. If one parent has it, 50%. I would not rely totally on those numbers. Dyslexia can range from mild to severe. About 40% of people with dyslexia also have ADHD, and those dyslexia use about 5 times more energy to complete a mental health task. Dyslexia is not a disease. There is no cure. It's a learning disability that includes different difficulty in the process of using angelistic and symptoms codes, alphabetical letters representing speech sounds or number of and qualities. You can also mix up words such as from or form. Dyslexics see the backward, the B and the D. Sometimes I flip them, sometimes I flip them in words. Sometimes I write them backwards in actually written form. Example, mainly caused by deficits interrupting the left and right brain. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services estimates that 15% of the population has dyslexia. You may refer to above the number of 1 of 5, which is 20%. Now here's more on a video. In the NBA, the series is now even at 111 to 100. In the NBA, the series is now tied at 1 after the Heat won on Sunday, 111-108. Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler and Gabe Vincent all had 20 points or more. For the Nuggets, all players to watch out for. For the Nuggets, Nikola Jokic had 50. He's a player to watch out for, the best player in the NBA. For Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, players to watch out for. And Tyler Hero is expected to play Game 3. He missed the first 2 games. Tip is tonight at 7:30 and 8:30 Eastern and 8:30 and 6:30 Mountain Time on ABC. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports.
Hey, my name is Ali. I'm a dyslexic in the field of education studies, and often I wish that people would have known better what it's like to be dyslexic. So I created this little simulation, and at the end of it, I am going to explain to you what it's all about. But first, let's get into it. So how did it go? For me, it went pretty bad for a pretty long time. And it creates a lot of frustration, as you probably have experienced. It has the side effect that you don't really know what the things were about that you read, because the decoding process takes so much time. And it does not mean that you're not intelligent enough to grasp a concept, to grasp meaning of something. It just means that this decoding is so difficult. And one way of explaining why that is that dyslexics are more rooted in a three-dimensional world. Let's take this chair as an example, and it kind of looks like a D in this orientation. If we turn around, it becomes a B. If we turn it another time, it becomes a Q. Turn it again, it becomes a P. So these orientations, these different orientations are really important when it comes to letters. But if we are stuck in this three-dimensional world, then these orientations don't really matter. It just remains a chair or whatever orientation you put it in. And that's transition from a world where these tiny differences don't matter to a world where they do is hard for dyslexics. And that's where a lot of these struggles stem from. There are other different explanations for the problem, but often they're really focused on deficits, and I think that's not a way to go, so let's not go there. And I hope that you got something out of it. Imagine you would experience this every day for several years at school, and have fun with it.
Not Oakland, Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. Well, I think there's a lot to think about with it, and these teams are going to do different things to try to generate more revenue, because they got to generate revenue to pay salaries and whatnot. So I don't think your plan sounds bad.
And then you got to build a roof on top of Arrowhead. Got to have that done in order to move the Final Four in here and possibly a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And if you build a roof, I think it could happen. A moving roof and a basketball ring that slides in and out.
But if they're talking about building a new stadium, then they could just build a stadium with a roof on it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it has to have a roof.
Yeah,
Doing if we're not building a roof on Arrowhead or wherever it is for the
It's
Chiefs,
pointless.
it's pointless.
Yeah.